Standards are key to determining whether or not a product, appliance, or technique lives up to its hype. And thus the goal of the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, is to help come up with those standards to which all others will be judged.
These methods of test become adopted by organizations such as ASTM or ASHRAE. And then those methods or tests are used by manufacturers to evaluate their products. And that's the way those metrics get embedded in everyone's consumer usage.
Hunter Fanny heads up NIST's Building and Environment Division. He says not only does NIST work with industry associations like the American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, and Air Conditioning Engineers, or ASHRAE, it also works closely with international organizations.
We're involved right now in international standards that will connect the smart grid to smart buildings. We're involved in international standards right now, trying to come up with a standard international method of testing heat pumps and air conditioners, because many products now are shipped across borders, and it's an impediment to commerce if each different country has its own test procedure.
The Net Zero Energy Residential Test Facility will produce enough of its own energy to keep the home running for a family of 4. But the home's use will be strictly simulated, which is a shame, really, because as far as new homes go, this one is pretty high-end. Automated control panels turn the lights on and off, as well as other appliances. Additional wiring, all linked to controls in the garage, will help NIST carry out tests for new home-scale energy technologies.
We needed a test bed that we could actually measure their performance, simulating real-world performance. We have a number of laboratories in our research building, but that's pristine laboratory conditions. This gives us the ability to evaluate the technologies under real-life conditions.
All of the appliances are considered energy efficient. The exterior is cement board with PVC trim for a nearly maintenance-free home. Also notice no gutters. Rainwater is captured into retention ponds through a series of perforated piping beneath the gravel to prevent runoff. Neil Deal, project superintendent for Theron Waddell General Contractor, says the home's air conditioning and heating will be from 3 different types of geothermal piping, allowing NIST to compare the efficiency of all 3.
This will allow them to test all of the ground source heat pumps and the slinky loop, the horizontal loop, and the boreholes or the wells. This allows them to all test them all at the same location in the same type of dirt, and they'll be able to either hook these up to a future unit or hook them up to some sort of a test rig to determine which is the best one to use.
Visiting the Net Zero house in its early stages of construction, we were able to see some of the more unique aspects, such as the extra thick insulated walls sealed to prevent air leakage.
2 layers of 2-inch rigid insulation to give a total of 4 inches of foil-faced insulation. And then we have our very important air barrier. That's a self-healing membrane, both a moisture and air barrier, and that goes on top of the 1/2-inch plywood.
The basement was built for future radiant floor heating or cooling using water flowing through tubing. Hunter Fanny says the facility also provides a test bed for future green technologies that are still in development, like the much talked about smart grid.
The home's going to be smart grid ready. You know, if we have a smart grid and we don't have smart buildings, since buildings use 72% of the energy, we really haven't accomplished a lot. Right now, it's an evolving field. You can't buy a smart grid ready appliance or a heat pump air conditioner that's smart grid ready.
Fanny says a smart grid ready appliance would allow for time of use rates. Right now, most people pay the same rate for electricity no matter the time of day.
Then, if your house is smart, it will look at those rates and decide, okay, you know what? The cheapest time for me to heat water is between 2 and 6 in the morning. And then I can store it and not be heating it during the summer afternoon when everyone's got their air conditioning running.
For the next year after completion, NIST Net Zero House is expected to demonstrate that a typical family residence can produce as much energy from renewable resources as it consumes. It will subsequently be used to develop data and measurements of energy use and production in real-world testing conditions. Rebecca Ward, VOA News.